In the last two Summer Olympics, Kenyans have won 25 medals, all of them in distance events. Of the top 10 marathon times ever recorded, Kenyans ran 8 of them. Even the US's own Bernard Lagat, who just qualified for his 5th Olympics at the age of 41, he's a Kenyan. Lagat, like almost all of the Kenyan champions, comes from one subgroup of one tribe. There are 42 tribes that comprise the Kenyan population. The Kalenjin tribe, a group of less than 5 million people, resides in the Great Rift Valley. And the Nandi subgroup, a group estimated to have fewer than 1 million people, produces many of the world's greatest champion distance runners. Only one American runner has ever broken 2 hours and 5 minutes in the marathon. Nandi runners have done it more than 30 times. And even the runners themselves aren't sure why they're so good.
I think most of the time, if you want to run good, you can train in high altitudes.
The altitude, they have the advantage of the altitude.
Someone like me now, I used to run when I was going to school. It was like almost 4 kilometers and come back for lunch and then go back to school afternoon.
I can say they have a good training program. That's what they are following in. Also, we have good altitude in our country.
And also the food that we have in Kenya.
We get food direct from our farms.
They are good for us. We don't have to go and process first.
All these factors, this multiplicity of factors, may act synergistically to produce these runners.
Robert Ojiambo is a lecturer in physiology at Moi University in Eldoret, Kenya, the epicenter of where the top marathoners live and train. He's co-authored multiple studies with scientists from Harvard, Scotland, and other places to find out why the Nandi are so dominant.
There's no single one factor that you can pinpoint and say this is the reason why you have this Kenyan running success. You must have the right environment. Where these runners live is actually about 2,200 meters above sea level, which is moderate altitude. As a physiologist, I would explain to you, you have hypoxia, lack of oxygen. So this lack of oxygen would stimulate the body to generate more blood, red blood cells. And if you're training at altitude, they'll boost what we call your VO2 max. You must have the right genes. Kenyan has 42 tribes. And then it's just only the Nandis that are producing the Olympians.
Part of those genetics might be the shape of their legs. Turns out that the Nandi have very thin calves.
Just compared to a thicker calf muscle, it's a smaller mass you're moving. So if you have a thicker leg, then clearly you spend more energy to move that mass.
They're also more efficient because of the way their feet strike the ground.
So this kid's running style is said to be barefoot running style. When you land on the tip 4 foot first, this sort of landing is said to be economical in terms of the energy you spend, and then of course in terms of the forces involved, you're less likely to injure your foot.
The barefoot running style comes because many of these runners come from poor areas and start out running without shoes. And it's their lifestyle that Ojiambo thinks may have the biggest impact on Nandi success.
Daily active lifestyle, active training, active life. You're herding cows, you're walking to the river, you're running to school. So there's habitual training as kids.
The runs back and forth from school each day resulted in a higher VO2 max among Nandi versus other Kenyan kids or Caucasian kids. Ojiambo says this created an aerobic base that runners could build on in training. But as the country continues to develop, there are more cars, buses, and motorbikes, meaning kids don't run as far.
More kids nowadays are actually being taken to school, driven to school. So the lifestyles are changing. So I expect that with time, the advantage will go away.